In some ways, I wonder who I'm making this video for. I don't know if it's the half a dozen Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League fans that are still left, and for some reason they're still following my channel even though they know that I did not like this game. Usually people leave when they have a different opinion than me. Or if it is the Batman Arkham fans, maybe the 10 of them that were still clutching their pearls, worried about what the Suicide Squad game would do to the legacy of Batman Arkham. And the reason I say that is because, for the most part, people I've talked to have chosen to actively ignore this game. Like, this is the biggest example of a headcanoned out video game I have ever seen. Like, even more than the Star Wars sequel trilogy, I would say. Like, a higher percentage of fans have just ignored this because they hated it. It's kind of crazy how big of a fumble this was. But anyways, long story short, Batman is alive. So is Superman, so is the Justice League, essentially. With like one exception, which I believe is Wonder Woman. I'm not really sure if they're gonna do anything to fix that or not, or what they're gonna do. Personally, I think this game is just done. Like, this was supposedly the final update, the season 4 episode 8 final content update. It ended with not much. It ended with a similar boss fight to everything you've seen before, and of course a motion comic. We're going to take a look at it for a couple minutes today, but they confirmed a few things with this. If you still consider it canon, up to you. I know that's a big debate, like, oh, you know, the studios determine the canon, fans don't. Oh, fans fund the studios, so like I don't have to care about your canon. I know people debate that all the time. That's fine, have at it. That's up to you. For me, I just, like, this game always felt kind of disrespectfully bad and like shock factor, like just shock value. I've said it 100 times, and this ending really confirms it. I mean, no matter what they did, I guess I would have felt that way, to be completely transparent, but I'll get into that in a minute. So if you enjoyed the video, you want to leave a like, subscribe, let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you want to support our channel, actually, we have several other channels, Patreon memberships, channel memberships. I did want to tell you I have a playlist of free videos on my Patreon, so that is actually for the free tier, but there's a lot more available for people who financially support the channel, which I do appreciate. Also, by the way, if you want to support us on a good games as a service game, even though it's not perfect, we have a Fortnite code, which I will show here, DJAY123. Now, I do have a question of the day, which is, do you even care? I know I've asked this about a lot of things lately, but I feel like it's a very valid question. Do you care that Batman is alive? Do you care that Superman is alive? The Arkham versions? Or do you just not even care about this game? To use it like Arkham Knight's the end, screw all this crap. Let me know. There's been a lot of rumors lately that there is more plans for the Arkham universe. A lot of people forever said, nuh-uh, no way. Then we got Suicide Squad, unfortunately. And we also got Batman Arkham Shadow, which I think was very good, but it was something that a lot of people did not have access to financially because of the headset, you know, because they're not going to pay $300 to $500 for a headset. And the people who say, oh, that's nothing, think they kind of forget that not everybody's doing well financially. Now, that said, this game essentially takes place after Arkham Knight, Suicide Squad, and we've talked about it 100 times before with shooting Batman in the face, killing Superman, all of this different stuff. Well, in this final ending, they randomly dropped the revelation that these really were just clones. Essentially, that everybody was just locked in these crystals. They were all tied up by Brainiac. He had put them into stasis and then cloned everybody for the Justice League that he caught. Except for Wonder Woman. I'm pretty sure she's just dead. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but he never caught Wonder Woman. So the Wonder Woman that we saw in the game, if anyone, you know, played it, if you want to suffer through it, you can watch my Let's Play channel, Degenerate Plays. I played through it over there. But the main game, essentially, you go through, you wipe out the Justice League, or these clones of them. Now it's confirmed. People argued that with me, by the way. I don't know why anyone cared. But a few videos ago, I said that these were clones, and people said, no, they were the real Justice League, he just revived them. Well, now they really confirmed that a lot of these were just clones, like Batman and Superman and stuff, they were just evil clones. So anyways, they get out, but Wonder Woman was never captured, so she was never put into stasis. The only Wonder Woman we really saw was the one working with the Suicide Squad, tangentially working with them, not really helping them on purpose, but trying to get the Justice League back. and she dies in the story, right? Her death is probably one of the only interesting moments in the game in terms of writing, other than the Batman experience where you go through the events of the original Arkham trilogy, and maybe the opening. Other than that, it's mostly a shock value fest. Well, that is confirmed in this motion comic, which I will say I like the style of these motion comics. I've said that before, but it's very clear that they were going more low budget, almost like a PowerPoint cutscene, because they really didn't want to spend more money on this game than they already lost. Superman breaks out of the container. I'm sure I've shown it by now. Batman shows up, punches Brainiac in the face. Then, of course, they take out Brainiac. The Suicide Squad goes free. They decide to travel through the Elseworlds. There is a statue to Wonder Woman being like, wow, Wonder Woman's great, as a commemoration. And Waller supposedly takes credit for killing the Brainiacs, essentially. And all's well that ends well, right? Well, I think a lot of people are probably still dead, but essentially what ends up happening is that the Suicide Squad decides to go off into those Elseworlds, and the Justice League decides to, I believe, stay on Brainiac's ship in order to try and right their wrongs. Essentially to try and undo the damage that was done to the multiverse in a lot of ways, and restore a bunch of the worlds that had been destroyed by Brainiac. At least the ones that they could. Now, how much of this is reversible? I don't know. How many of these deaths are reversible, like the people who got beamed up? I don't know. Were they all clones? I don't know, because we did see Terminauts actually change people as well in the game. Now I'm getting into actual Suicide Squad lore, and I feel bad just even talking about it. I feel gross. I feel like the guy trying to peddle drugs to kids outside the local high school. Like, you're 40, dude. Like, your time here at the high school is done. Get out of here. Like, that's how I feel with Suicide Squad. My time around this game should be done. There should be a restraining order between the two of us. If there was a mother to this game and I was the father, I would give up complete custody of this child. I never want to see it again. That is how I feel about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. There's just nothing really here that's interesting to me. But I do find it... Well, I'll take that back. I do find one thing interesting about this. That essentially by the end of the game, other than Wonder Woman getting offed completely, everything is undone. Like I said, I don't know how many deaths are undone, but the Justice League themselves, they were clones. They're back. Now, does this take away from the bad characterization of certain people? No. Like Superman being trusting and wanting to go on Brainiac's ship because he doesn't know any better because he's a nice guy. I'm not saying Superman's an idiot, but like that naivety in some ways fits with a Superman who's maybe not, been doing this for 20 years, right? Like he's trying to see the good in people. I mean, we see that with a lot of different versions of Superman. That's who he is. But with Batman, this dude should have been way more skeptical of Brainiac, and you hear in the chat logs, or whatever they were called, the audio logs, that he was. Like, that he was like, going on this ship is a bad idea, we shouldn't do this, and then he decided to just go along with it anyway, and it just led to the Justice League being captured, Batman looking like a chump. I think the only good thing that came of this was Kevin Conroy, one of his final performances, being able to play an evil Batman. That was actually kind of cool. Like, I could tell he was getting into it. He did a good job. He was fun. Rest in peace, obviously. Like, what a great actor and a great man in pretty much every way. But it's truly sad to me, though, that like there would have been ways to do this that could have even elevated that performance. Obviously, he didn't write it, so I'm not saying this about him. But like, look at doing something like Owlman, or look at doing something like the Justice Lords. That's just an idea from the DCAU, where you have like a Justice League that's evil from an alternate reality. Why didn't you just have this game be the Suicide Squad teams up with the Justice League to try and take down the Justice Lords, and the Justice Lords are more powerful versions of the Justice League from the Earth that we followed in the Arkham universe. You could have done that without making the Justice League seem like a bunch of morons who went on Brainiac's ship and then just got captured. You could have done that without doing a bunch of random shock value murder the Justice League. Oh, JK, we're backing out of it. They were all clones. Like, to me, this game, the entire plot could be summed up as, just kidding. Unless, like, it's really just they were trying to see what they could get away with and how much they could piss people off and make a shock value story around these heroes. And then when it backfired, they backed out on it, undid everything in low budget cutscenes, which I will admit the style of is still cool. I like motion comics, and that's that. Like, what from this game has lasting consequences other than Wonder Woman being dead? Why was this game made other than to try and milk people for money with the live service? Didn't work, by the way. It's a huge failure. What is lasting about this? When I look back at the Arkham games, there's something lasting about all of them. Even the weakest of them, people still talk about. Like, people will talk about the mobile version of, what was it? Arkham Origins, I believe, had a mobile version. People will talk about the mobile Arkham City Lockdown or Arkham Lockdown or whatever. People will talk about Blackgate, you know, the side scroller, a game that I actually want to play through soon on my Let's Play channel. So if you want to check that out, I probably will do that near future-ish, something I want to play. People will talk about those, you know, the things that are considered the weakest of the Arkham universe. They have a lasting impact still. People still talk about them. They don't just talk about them to make fun of them. The only time I ever see Suicide Squad show up in conversation is to be mocked, to be laughed at, to be pointed to as a failure. And I don't blame the devs. I know some people do. I think that's misguided. What I blame is management. The devs themselves, do you really think they make these decisions? To me, blaming the devs is like going to Walmart and blaming the guy at the front counter. Unless he's directly a dick to you, he's just doing what he's supposed to feed his family and keep a job. I know that's dangerously close to the sentiment of just following orders, but like, it is true. Like, they're told, do this, shut up, do this. I guarantee a lot of the devs on this team had way better ideas than what they were told to make. I guarantee it. But nobody listens to those people. If you're not at the top of the food chain, no one cares. People care even less about people like me, right? I'm not even a game dev. So it's like I'm just a voice yelling at the internet. But in general, those devs, I truly believe, didn't really do anything wrong. Do I blame them for continuing to work at Rocksteady to feed their family? No, I don't. But this game is bad. The management should be ashamed of themselves, and in a lot of ways, it really does look like they turned tail and ran and made a new company. I believe that the WB upper management should be ashamed of themselves, but a lot of them have been replaced since then, so also who cares, because most of them are gone. It's just a shame. It's all around just a shame. I'm interested to hear what you think down below. Personally, do I care about it? I guess I care more than I thought I did because I talked this long, but overall, this game just became a nothing burger. And I guess it was damned if it did, damned if it didn't for me, because it either would have stuck with what it did, and at least it had the balls to do that, but it still would have been an edgelord fest. But instead, it's an edgelord fest that didn't even stick the landing, like it just ran away from what it did. Either way, I would have thought it sucked. So that's just my full transparency. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, Fortnite code DJAY123. I appreciate you very much. And finally, all of our other content and all of our other channels are down there, including other ways to support our channel. And I did want to say that we also have a store, cosmobunny.shop, where we take comics, manga, magazines, guidebooks, inserts, basically anything that is damaged. Like, we take these pieces of paper, we recycle, I would say 90% of the paper we get, but let's be conservative and say 80. Then what we do is we take the other 10 to 20%, we turn that into transformative resin coasters, keychains, trays, and more. We don't print pictures, we never print pictures, we never have printed a picture, and I'm gonna make this guarantee, I don't think we ever will print a picture. I don't like that idea. What I like is reusing this existing paper. My wife Jill does an amazing job to create these transformative, wonderful pieces for your home. We're actually going back into production on them very soon, so there will be new stock going up on the site over the coming weeks, which we're very excited about. So I hope you'll check that out. Code DJAY123, 10% off your first purchase. Hope you have a fantastic day. And as always, everyone, stay shui. And by the way, if you didn't like this video, I'm just gonna wreck on it.